In tonight's Detroit 2020 report, we see historic buildings disappear every day across the Motor City.
But thanks to one man, a part of those buildings will live on. If walls could talk, what would these walls say? Would they tell us about Detroit in the good times or what's happened since? Would we hear the laughter of families or the cold wind of abandonment? Of course, these walls can't talk, but they can sing.
So this is a guitar that was the wood came out of the David Whitney building downtown.
Mark Wallace is the founder of Wallace Detroit Guitars, instruments made from wood recycled from Detroit homes and buildings.
Maybe about 18 months ago, I started to see people using reclaimed wood to do interesting things, whether it's picture frames or making some furniture. And I thought, it'd be cool to do an instrument out of this wood.
For instance, Mark heard the David Whitney building was being remodeled, and they were throwing out old door frames.
I took an hour off on my lunch break one day, drove down there and filled up the back of the car.
Mark builds his guitars out of his Corktown home, patiently working the wood, slowly reshaping it, carefully turning pieces of discarded scrap into fine musical instruments that talk to us.
In some ways, the sound that you hear out of an instrument like this is actually the sound of the city. It doesn't get more organic than that.
Mark feels his guitars are keeping a little piece of Detroit alive. For instance, even though the famous Brewster projects are gone, maybe the walls listened to one of its most famous residents, Diana Ross. And just maybe, these walls can talk through a Mark Wallace guitar.
Yeah, it's sad to see some of the really cultural icons in Detroit go down, some of the historic buildings. And in preserving some of the elements of those buildings, I'm able to sort of maintain some of those stories.
Wow, how nice is that? That's cool.
Wallace insists, by the way, he's not a scrapper. Don't get him confused. He's not into ripping out wood instead of copper from homes and buildings. In fact, coming up on the list tonight at 7:30, right after this newscast, we're going to take you to the place Wallace gets his materials for his special guitars. You're not going to want to miss that. It's cool.
So is he selling those? How much are those?
Yeah, he sells them right now at his website, which is wallacedetroitguitars.com, and he sells them around $2,000. The Whitney guitars are a bit more expensive. They've got high-end electronics on them.
Wow.
But he wants to start retailing them, and he says he's also working on some deals to get them, with other famous...
You know about guitars. Is that a good price?
Yeah, it's a great price for a good high-end guitar like that, and they're very well built. I'm not a solid body player myself, but it's a good guitar. Cool.